So, good morning, honorable judges, ladies and gentlemen, dear students. Welcome to my class. These are the objectives of today's class. They are about the three aspects: knowledge, skills, and thought. And the first one is the focus today. That is to understand Google's hiring criteria. And these are the procedures, 4 of them. So, shall we begin? Yes or no? Great. Here we go. First of all, do you know about Google? Do you know Google? Yeah. So what's that? What's Google? A
searching system.
searching system. Or in other words, maybe search engine, right? Search engine. Anything else?
It's an internet company.
International company. XML. Maybe we can put it in a better way. Multinational technology company, right? A large company. Nowadays, have you used Google before?
Back to my primary school. Because then it's shut down.
It's okay. Because of some reasons nowadays, maybe we cannot use Google. But with some help, you can. All right? Now, in a recent release of Fortune magazine this year, Google ranked the second among world's most admired companies. And it has been selected as the best company to work at for over 30 times. So, do you want to know how it feels to work at Google? Let's see some pictures. First of all, cafeteria. Interesting, right? There's even a slide there. And the playroom, where you can play with some musical instruments. And the egg office. Have you seen any office like that? No, that's right. Imaginary, right? And the library. They got a library, imagine that. Comfortable, right? And the gym. So do you want to work at such a place? Do you want to? Yes. Then maybe we need to figure out what Google is expecting from its potential employees. Now, can you guess what Google's hiring criteria are? What are Google's hiring criteria if you want to be a member of that company? Now,
they need high coding ability. Coding ability.
coding ability? Code ability, yeah, that's right. Yeah, for some jobs, right? How about others?
Yeah, you need to have leadership.
Leadership, that's right. Okay, how about others?
General cognitive ability.
General cognitive ability. So you have learned the task, right? But as a matter, I'm expecting something others, okay, other than that. Maybe a degree from a brand name college, say Harvard, or a high GPA, or others. Now let's read the text to find out Google's hiring criteria. How to Get a Job at Google is an article written by Thomas L. Friedman. Do you know this person? No? Thomas L. Friedman is a renowned author, reporter, and columnist. And he's the only reporter that has won three Pulitzer Prizes. And this is Thomas L. Friedman. And this article is based on an interview between Friedman and Laszlo Bock. This is Laszlo Bock. Who is Laszlo Bock? Very
He's the senior vice president of people operations for Google.
good. In other words, he's a person in charge of hiring, right? This is a person that you want to meet, right? If you want to work at Google. Now, let's take a look at the organization of the text. I've divided the text into 4 parts: introduction, body, summary, and the writer's thoughts. And here are the main ideas, but they are incomplete. Now, please go through the text very quickly to find the missing words to make them complete. Here we go. So the first one has already been given to you. Google expects more other than good grades. That's the first part, right? And the second part, the writer talks about the five, what's the word we're looking for?
5 qualities that Google value.
Values, close enough, but they're not the original words appearing in paragraph 3, first line. What's the word that we're looking for?
Hiring attributes.
Very good. Hiring attributes. Okay. How about the second word? We're looking for a verb here. A verb in the second line, paragraph 3.
Assess.
Very good. Thank you. Assess. That's right. Google assesses. And that's the main idea for part 2. How about part 3? Any ideas? Part 3. This is a part where the writer concludes about Google's approach to hiring. He says hiring officers have to be
alive to everyone.
very good. Alive to everyone. Every form here. Everyone actually refers to every form of talent. Okay. Now, and the last one, the writer talks about what skills count wherever you go to work.
Soft skill.
Very good, soft skills. What kind of skills can be called soft skills according to the writer? Leadership, collaboration, etc. Now, we've learned about the structure of the test. Now, let's just focus on the second part. That is the 5 attributes. Now, please go through this part, paragraph 3 to 8, to find out the 5 attributes. In line 3, paragraph 3, we can see the expression, the number one thing they look for is
General cognitive ability.
very good, general cognitive ability. The second, paragraph 4, the second,
Leadership.
leadership. But what kind of leadership?
Emergent leadership.
That's it. Okay, thank you. Emergent leadership. How about the third and the fourth one? What else? What else? Humility and ownership. And the last one, the first line in paragraph 8, expertise. That's right. According to the writer, they go in this order, from the most important to the least important. But what do they actually refer to? Let's take a close look. Talking about general cognitive ability, it is not IQ, but learning ability, the ability to process
On the fly.
on the fly, that's it. And the ability to put together,
Disparate.
great, disparate. You know the word, right? Disparate. Do you know the meaning of the word? It means completely different, all right? In other words, it refers to the ability to learn and handle things on the spot quickly and efficiently through information integration. And the next one, emergent leadership. Compared to traditional leadership, it's kind of different, all right? It refers to one at appropriate time to step in and lead, and also be willing to, that's right, relinquish, okay? Relinquish power here means what? It means what? Give up, that's right. In other words, it is a kind of leadership that is lead and let lead. Have you heard of the phrase live and let live before? Live and let live. Have you heard of before? You live and also you let other people live. You give the chance to other people, let them live. It's kind of similar, all right? We will leave humility and ownership for later discussion, and then let's focus on expertise. It refers to what knowledge? Here. In line 4, paragraph 8. Line 4, paragraph 8. In other words, it is content knowledge. That's right, okay, content knowledge. In other words, professional knowledge. According to Laszlo Bach, he thinks expertise is the least important attribute. Do you think it's important? It's not important at all? Does that mean Lasso Bach thinks it's not important at all? No, of course not. Only comparatively speaking. Maybe we can try to understand these attributes in this way. Expertise emphasizes the knowledge part, while the other four emphasize capability and cleverness. In other words, wisdom. Knowledge is acquired through external exploration, while wisdom is about internal perception. Okay? Now, let's take a look at paragraph 5 to 7, where we can find attributes 3 and attribute 4, humility and ownership. One thing we have to pay attention to is the writing technique applied in the argument of this part. In paragraph 5, the writer states the two attributes, humility and ownership, and their explanation. And then in paragraph 6 and 7, the writer argues from the reverse side. Without intellectual humility, you are unable to learn. And he proves his point with two examples. And in the end of paragraph 7, he goes back to the original statement by saying the people Google wants to hire have a big ego and small ego themselves at the same time. Big ego and small ego here represent the sense of ownership, here, the sense of ownership and humility, okay? Big ego and small ego. Now let's deal with some expressions appearing in this text. First one, which I believe is very important, is intellectual humility. Humility, we're familiar with it, right? It means modesty, that's right. Intellectual humility refers to the state of being aware of the limits of one's knowledge. Even though you're full of knowledge, you accept the fact that there's still room for more. On the opposite, we have intellectual arrogance. Arrogance means what? You think you have already learned all the knowledge in the world, just like Dr. Faustus. Do you know Dr. Faustus? No, it's a very important figure in British literature. This book written by Christopher Marlowe. Maybe you can get a read after today's class, all right? And here comes the word Plato. As a noun, we're familiar with it. We have learned in geography class. It means what? A large area of flat land that is higher than the land around it. For example, we have Qinghai Tibet Plateau. You know that, right? And also we have Yunnan Guizhou Plateau, right? But here, it is used as a verb. If something plateaus, it reaches a level, then stays at a particular level. Here's an example taken out of the text. And here you have a try, okay? Evelyn's career is accelerating, and mine would pay attention to the tense and the form. How about the girl? Would you want to have a try?
And mine is plateauing.
Plateauing. All right, plateauing. That's right. Okay, you got it right. Thank you. And here's the stage where people plateau. Maybe only with intellectual humility we can make a breakthrough. As Steve Jobs puts it, stay hungry, stay foolish. You know Steve Jobs, right? You know him, right? Of course, everybody knows Steve Jobs, right? And in paragraph 5, we can see this sentence where the writer uses a figure of speech that is called antithesis. So what is antithesis? Antithesis is a figure of speech that involves a seeming contradiction of ideas, words, clauses, or sentences within a balanced grammatical structure. Here we have the sense of responsibility to step in, and then the humility to step back. Parallel structures, but opposite meanings, right? Here's another example. Help the poor, many who are poor, save the few who are rich. Parallel structure, right? But opposite meanings. Here is another example. Would you want to have a try? You have seen the answer. Let's show it. This sentence actually is taken out of Holy Bible, Psalms. Psalms means, actually this part, according to the legend, it was written by who? Solomon. Do you know Solomon? One of the wise kings of Israel country, all right? And they that sow in tears shall reap in joy. Sow and reap. Sow, reap. In tears, in joy. Parallel structures, opposite meanings. This is a good sentence, right? Maybe we can save it for future writing. In this article, Laszlo Bock says what? Says, good GPAs are worthless as a criterion for hiring, and test scores are worthless. And he also says, too many colleges don't deliver on what they promise. So maybe what Laszlo Bock is trying to tell us is that nowadays, good grades don't reflect the skills. Does that mean colleges are just the ivory tower that aspiring students can skip? I will give you like a minute to discuss about this question with your partner's desk mates. Do you think that aspiring students can skip colleges because colleges are just ivory towers and good grades don't reflect our skills? Okay, now discuss. Do you think, aspiring, ambitious students can quit colleges like Steve Jobs, like Mark Zuckerberg? Do you think it's okay? Aspiring means ambitious, Yeah. Okay, so who wants to answer this question? Do you think it's okay? How about this girl? Could you please?
I'm sorry. I haven't think of the answer.
Okay, thank you. How about this boy?
I don't think so. I think for the aspiring students, they too have to acquire their expertise at college, and the college, a college is what is a place that can have almost infinite resources compared to those we have at home, and so that's where they can gain more knowledge.
I agree with you. Thank you. And also, does the writer of this article, because for most people, young people, going to college is the best way for us to acquire the skills for us to do many jobs. But we have to keep in mind that our degree is not a proxy for our ability to do any job. So it seems like a dilemma, right? We have to go to college, but at the same time, good grades don't reflect skills. So how to make good grades a reflection of our skills? It might be a good start to ask ourselves a few questions. In the center, we have why. Why are we here studying at the university? By asking ourselves this question, we set a goal. We get a conviction, which acts like a beacon showing us the direction. Then, conviction. Then we identify the gap between what we learn in college and what we should learn. This would intellectually and emotionally motivate us to figure out how to achieve that goal, which brings everything down to action. As a result, we become what we want to be. All right? So that's it. Here, for further information, here are some resources for you guys to use later. And this is assignment. It's about writing, okay? That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, contestant number 6. Now let's hear from the judges for your questions first.
Can you show us the last screen about your assignment? Yes. You ask the students to write such kind of a short essay to talk about ideal job.
So
how would you prepare the students for this writing? Apart from what you taught in the class.
Well, I prepare the students by asking them some questions. First of all, the last one, critical thinking. The students need to figure out, first of all, why they are here studying at the university. Maybe the first thing they have to answer is what kind of job they want to do in the future. Not the job that can feed them, but the job that can give them a sense of satisfaction, a way for them to realize, to achieve self-realization. And then they need to figure out how to identify the gap between the reality and the ideal. So this is why I hope that students could actually think about the critical question here, critical thinking part, and then put it into words, because writing makes an exact man, as Bacon says.
Okay, you're talking about critical, and we have 2 words here, 2 critical here, in paragraph 4. The third line from the bottom and the second line from the bottom, from the end of this paragraph. We have critically and also critical. Can you tell the difference between these 2 words? Besides, it is one is adverb, another is adjective. So, does it have do they have different meanings here? The first one is, and just as critically, you step back and stop leading. The second one is, what's critical to be an effective leader in this environment, etc. So, are these 2 critical the same, or are they different? In what way they are different?
Well, I think they're different. First of all, critically here means, I believe it means you have this kind of thinking, you have this kind of judgment. That is when to step in and when to step back, when to take the power, when to give up the power. So you have this kind of judgment that is critically. But here, the second critical, I think it means key or most important.
Incidentally, how would you translate this ownership into Chinese?
主人公意识，主人公精神. That means you are just an inherent part of this company.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much.